case. So I'll just copy this, Control C, and here chapter 13, Alt insert Java class test. Okay. To save some time, I will copy the unit test cases from previous chapter 11. Just copy here from here, go down and copy till here, Control C, and I will Control V here. Okay. Now let's make changes accordingly. Now we are interested in our own chapter, this one, market data provider, write object, read object. Okay, and again mark it as this. And let's change the name, inet instead. Okay, so this is our market data provider for chapter 13. And also let me change this as well. So I will change the name of our Java selection file as this. Setup method is looking good now. Okay, now test basic selection for Java Pojo with, let me change the name here with writeObject. Okay, and now let me make the name of this as, okay, market data with. Okay, so we are setting all this, and then we set our market data provider as the given one, and then we simply write it to the write object. So once it's go to the write object, it will also before this write object, before it just serialized, it will call our write object method here, and then it will try to call the default serialization as well as write the string here. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, so we are here. Okay, so test deserialize method is also looking good. Let's go with the test deserialize method. Let's change the name as readObject because we are using the default, not custom readObject method. And here it's all good. Let me change the name of this cast. Okay, it should be like this. Okay. Now everything else should be fine because all these fields were not transient. So they should be exactly same as what it was before the serialize method was called. Only for market data provider, which was market as transient. So let me take it out first. I will Control C this and Control V and Control Alt V. Replace this. Okay, replace all two occurrences. Okay, so I will just call it as market data provider 1, which is from the serialize. Okay, and instead of using this, because we are using Java 11, right, we just can mark it as final var. Okay, let me make some space here equal to this. Okay, so this is what we are getting back from this from the deserialized byte of streams. So first of all, we need to assert that this object would not be null, although it's marked as transient, but still, because we are actually overriding the read object method, that's why it should not be null. This is our first assertion. And after that, we can also assert equals, because we are storing the string name of it. So assert equals, I will mark it as inet and market data provider 1 dot get name. And finally, okay, and this dot market provider would be actual, because we are also implementing. So let's revise this again, because we are actually, let's go back to our read object method here. So write object, read object. So here we are doing the default read object, and although it was marked as transient, we are still able to write the name of the string, then the name of the string name of this market data provider private member field, and this is where we pass it as a constructor and get the original object back. So this is what we are doing. That is assert not null. Sorry. So we are actually trying to, so it should be assert not null, sorry. Okay. And then we assert that the name field, which is exactly same, and the object itself is exactly same, because this object here is this one with the same inet name field. Okay. So this is what about the test cases. Now the time to run the test cases and see that whether our assertion is good or not. So let's run the unit test case now. I'll click at the whole class level, click on run here. It's running. Okay. So it both the test cases worked well. So if you see here in the output, so before serialization, we have got this string method. So let's go back to method here. Okay. So here we are printing this out, and then we finally call this writeObject method. And when this writeObject method is called, just before it was serialized to the byte stream, before that, our writeObject method was called here. So writeObject method is here. So this was called, and that's why we got this inside writeObject method. And then it called the default serialization of bytes. But for the transient field, it was marked as null in the default process. But we explicitly took out the name field from market data provider, that transient object, reference object, and wrote it using the writeUTF method. And similarly, once we deserialize it, let's go back to the class again, test class again. Once we deserialized it, so as soon as we call this readObject method, before we called this after serialization, it was inside that readObject method that we created here. So again, let's go back to here. In the readObject method, it was called inside readObject, and then it first of all it did the default deserialization process. So the transient field was marked as null. So that's why we had to explicitly create this transient field again using the constructor. And we already wrote the name field here. We already wrote the name field to the stream of bytes, and that's why we were able to read it back using readUTF method. And that's why the assertions that we have written are all good. And also we wrote we overwrote the equals method here. So get name, it was not null first of all, although being marked as transient. Also the name field was correct, and it's exactly the same object as here because we have overridden. If we go back, market data provider, we have overridden the equals method here. That's why two objects with the same name will be marked as equal. So guys, this was all about chapter 13 using writeObject and readObject methods, where we saw how we control the default Java serialization process and deserialization process. The next video will cover chapter 14 using ObjectStream field, where we will learn another technique to do the same thing. So see you all in the next video.